Welcome back to the Deep Dive. It is Thursday, February 5th, 2026.
Great to be here.
Now, usually when we talk about theater on this show, we're looking at the text, we're getting into the weeds.
Right, we're analyzing the prose of Ibsen or the structure of a Sondheim score.
Exactly. We're all about the art itself. But today, we really have to talk about the business. We do, because if you've walked through Times Square in the last, say, 48 hours, you might have noticed something.
Oh, you can't miss it.
The billboards have completely changed. It doesn't look like Broadway anymore. It looks like the red carpet at the Golden Globes.
It really does. It feels like an invasion. And it's not just the usual, one movie star does a limited run in the fall kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's a saturation event. We've been looking at the sources for the spring 2026 season, and the sheer density of A-list Hollywood talent is, well, it's statistically anomalous.
It really is. I was looking at the historical data you pulled. Usually a good season, a big season, can support maybe 2 or 3 of these megastar vehicles.
This spring, we counted 10.
10
household names. And I don't mean Broadway famous. I mean international franchise famous. People you see on posters in every country in the world.
We're talking wizards.
We're talking Avengers.
We are talking chefs from The Bear. They're everywhere.
It's honestly like the Oscars and the Tonys just decided to merge their guest lists for 3 months.
Right. And while our mission today is really just to give you the ultimate playbill, the who, what, and where, so you can navigate this season.
And it is a fun one. No heavy critiques today, just excitement.
Exactly. But first, we kind of have to answer the question, why? Why is this all happening right now?
Yeah.
Because this massive influx of talent, it isn't an accident. It's actually a very specific industry strategy that producers are using this year.
I was reading through the industry analysis in our stack, and this term kept popping up, star stabilization.
Star stabilization.
It sounds like something from a sci-fi movie. Or, I don't know, maybe something NASA does to a dying sun. Well, in a way, it is preventing a kind of burnout.
But it's really about ticket sales, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. If we look at the economic landscape of Broadway, especially post-pandemic, it's been a long recovery process.
Sure.
The industry's looking for sure bets. They need them. The old model, the long-running hit that just runs for years on word of mouth, it's fractured a little bit.
You can't just put up a show and hope it runs for 5 years anymore.
You can't. The capitalization costs, the money it takes to just open the doors on day one have just skyrocketed.
I saw some of the budget sheets you pulled for us. Capitalization for a straight play is pushing $6, sometimes $7 million now.
Easily.
That seems like a staggering amount of money to bet on a play where, a few people just talk in a room for 2 hours.
It's a massive, massive risk. So the big question for producers is, how do you de-risk an investment of $7 million?
Okay.
You don't rely on the play itself.
Yeah.
You rely on the poster.
The name on the marquee.
Star stabilization is the strategy of using a massive household name to front-load the entire box office. You sell 80% of your tickets before the first preview even happens.
Oh, because the public wants to see that celebrity in person.
Exactly.
Which explains the other part of it, the limited run. These aren't open-ended runs we're talking about.
Oh, they can't be. Daniel Radcliffe, Adrien, Brody, Don Cheadle, they have film schedules, they have other commitments. They can give you maybe 14 weeks.
16 if you're lucky.
16 if you're lucky. But for the producers, that restriction, that short window, is actually a feature, not a bug.
Because it creates scarcity.
Exactly. It's basic economics.
Yeah.
Scarcity drives the average ticket price, the ATP as they call it, through the roof.
Right. If Daniel Radcliffe is on Broadway for a whole year, you can think, oh, I'll see him in November. I'll wait for a discount code.
But if he's only there for 12 weeks...
You buy the ticket today.
Yeah.
And you pay whatever they're asking.
You pay premium pricing? Absolutely. It creates a must-see event mentality. And most importantly for the investors, it ensures they recoup that $7 million within the window of the star's contract.
It creates a lot of stress for my credit card is what it does.
Tell me about it.
But let's dive in, because the lineup, as we said, is honestly just staggering.
It is.
Just to list them again. Daniel Radcliffe, Nathan Lane.
The guys from The Bear.
Adrien, Brody, Tessa, Thompson, Don Cheadle. Where do we even begin?
I think we have to start with the wizard who has truly become a creature of the theater.
Let's do it. Let's unpack this. Segment 1, The Wizard Returns. We are talking, of course, about Daniel Radcliffe.
And we should say, fresh off a huge success.
Yes. I mean, he just won the Tony Award for Best Featured Actor in a Musical for Merrily We Roll Along.
It was a great performance.
It was fantastic. And he has officially, I think, shed the Harry Potter kid label in the theater world. I mean, honestly, he shed that years ago with Equus.
Oh, years ago.
But winning the Tony really cemented it. And now he's back, but he's doing something completely different.
Totally different. The show is called Every Brilliant Thing.
Every Brilliant Thing.
And this is a fascinating choice for him. It's playing at the Hudson Theatre, which is at 141 West 44th Street, so right in the heart of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Previews begin very soon, February 21st, with the official opening night on March 12th.
Okay.
But what makes this so interesting, as you said, is the format. It's a solo play, a one-man show.
So let's look at why this specific vehicle, Every Brilliant Thing, is such a fascinating choice for Radcliffe.
Right.
He just won a Tony for a big Sondheim musical. He proved he can sing, he can dance, he can do the whole Broadway thing. He could have easily picked some big, loud ensemble drama for his victory lap.
You could have done anything you wanted.
Anything. Instead, he picks a solo show.
Yeah.
And not just any solo show where he, stands behind a podium and monologues for 90 minutes.
No, this is what critics like to call immersive conceptual theater. It's a piece that balances light and dark in a way that requires incredible dexterity from the performer.
So it's just him on stage. No orchestra, no co-stars. Just Daniel Radcliffe and, and you, the audience.
That is the unique mechanism of this play.
Mm-hmm.
We have the script here by Duncan McMillan and Johnny Donahoe, and it looks so simple on the page.
It really does.
But the whole structure of it requires the actor to improvise with the audience constantly.
I was reading the stage manager reports from some of the previous productions, and this isn't just, raise your hand if you've ever felt sad.
Yeah, no.
The actor has to walk into the audience, hand a piece of paper to a complete stranger in row C and say, "You are now my school counselor. Please take off your sock," and use it as a hand puppet to talk to me.
Exactly. Now, just imagine doing that when you are Daniel Radcliffe.
That's the real friction point here, isn't it? The entire play relies on creating a sense of intimacy and vulnerability. It relies on the audience forgetting that the actor is a global superstar and just seeing him as a person telling a story. But when that actor is literally Harry Potter, does that break the whole mechanism?
That is the big question of the season, I think. Can his celebrity just disappear into the work? The Hudson Theatre is going to help.
How so?
It's one of the oldest, most beautiful houses on Broadway, but it's relatively intimate. It's not a huge barn.
Okay.
So if he can bridge that gap, if he can get a tourist who paid $400 for a ticket to genuinely participate in a scene about suicide and depression without it feeling like a meet and greet,
wow,
then he's doing something truly profound as an actor.
It's a real test of charisma versus celebrity.
That's a great way to put it.
But tell us about the story itself, because the title, Every Brilliant Thing, sounds so lovely and uplifting, but the subject matter is actually quite heavy, right?
It absolutely balances light and dark.
Yeah.
So the premise is that the protagonist, who will be played by Radcliffe, starts a list when he's a young boy.
Just a kid.
Just a kid. His mother suffers from chronic depression and has attempted suicide. And to try and cheer her up, to give her a reason to keep going, he starts writing down every brilliant thing about the world, every single reason to live.
And the list is it's these wonderful, simple things. I have some examples here from the source material. Entry number 1 is ice cream.
A classic.
Number 2, water fights. Number 3, staying up past your bedtime and being allowed to watch TV.
The color yellow. Roller coasters. It's a list of life's small, perfect joys. And as the character grows up, because the play spans his entire life, from childhood to adulthood, the list grows with him.
And it eventually reaches 1 million entries.
1 million entries. But getting back to that interaction we mentioned, Radcliffe doesn't just read the list himself. He has audience members read out entries.
So you buy a ticket to see a movie star, and suddenly you are literally in the play with him.
It creates this incredibly communal, intimate vibe. The sources all describe it as uplifting and a storytelling masterclass. It's not a depressing play about depression. It's a life-affirming play about resilience and finding light.
And for Radcliffe, who just came off this massive musical production, to strip it all down to just storytelling and, improvisation with the crowd, that's a real flex of his acting muscles.
It's a huge flex. And it's also worth noting the history here. This isn't some brand new play that was written just for him.
No, it has a pretty rich pedigree.
It does. It started way back at the Edinburgh Festival Fringe in 2014. It became an HBO documentary in 2016. It's been performed in something like 80 countries around the world.
Wow.
So Radcliffe is stepping into a vehicle that has proven to work, but he's bringing his own very specific energy and, his celebrity to it.
And again, this is a limited run. It closes May 24th. So if you want to have Daniel Radcliffe ask you to read ice cream off a piece of paper, you have a very, very short window to make that happen.
A very short window indeed. And speaking of short windows and heavy hitters, we have to move to our second segment.
Yes.
Because if Radcliffe is the young veteran, our next star is a true Broadway titan.
Segment 2, a heavy hitter. We are talking about the return of Arthur Miller's Death of a Salesman.
The great American classic.
And the casting here is it's perfect. It's chef's kiss. We have Nathan Lane starring as Willy Loman.
I mean, that is a massive announcement.
Yeah.
Just a huge deal. Nathan Lane is a 3-time Tony winner. We know him, of course, for his comedic genius. The producers, a funny thing happened on the way to the Forum.
The Lion King.
The Lion King.
Right.
But he has these immense dramatic chops as well. He did The Iceman Cometh, he did Angels in America. But taking on Willy Loman.
That's the big one.
That is the Mount Everest of American male acting roles.
It really is. And it's funny because so often the best Willy Lomans are actually comedic actors. There's something about that sad clown archetype, the desperation of a man trying to sell himself.
I completely agree. Willy Loman is a performer. He's always on. He's constantly performing success for his family. He's performing confidence for his boss.
Yeah.
And a great comic actor understands the sheer exhaustion of that performance better than anyone.
And he's not alone on that stage. Playing his wife, the long-suffering Linda Loman, is Laurie Metcalf.
Another titan. Just a legend. A 2-time Tony winner herself.
She is known for being able to play these incredibly complex, resilient, often quietly furious women. You think of her in A Doll's House, Part 2, or 3 Tall Women.
The dynamic between Nathan Lane and Laurie Metcalf is going to be absolutely electric. They are both actors who can turn on a dime from gut-busting humor to just shattering heartbreak.
And we have to mention the boys. The Loman sons.
Right.
We have Christopher Abbott playing Biff. You might know him from the Showgirls or more recently on stage in Danny and the Deep Blue Sea.
He's got that intensity you need for Biff.
He does. And Ben Allers from The Gilded Age is making his Broadway debut as the other son, Happy.
So it's a powerhouse cast all around. But I want to point out something really interesting about the venue.
Okay.
This production is playing at the Winter Garden Theatre.
So we leave the intimate, improvised world of the Hudson, and we walk a few blocks over to 1634 Broadway.
The Winter Garden Theatre. It is a legendary venue, no question. But if you know your Broadway real estate, you know that booking Death of a Salesman into the Winter Garden is, well, it's an aggressive move.
Why? Because of the size.
Because of the volume and the history, yeah. The Winter Garden is a barn. It's huge. It's wide. This was the home of Cats for nearly 2 decades.
Right.
It's where the Music Man just played with Hugh Jackman. It was built for showgirls and massive spectacle and big orchestras.
It was not built for a quiet, desperate conversation in a Brooklyn kitchen.
Exactly. Death of a Salesman is a claustrophobic play. It's about a man who feels the walls closing in on him.
Usually you'd put this in a smaller house, right? Like the Booth or the Golden.
Sure.
Tighter, more intimate spaces.
100%. So putting it in the Winter Garden is a huge statement of intent from the producers. It says, we don't think this is just a play. We think this is a blockbuster event.
They're banking on the Nathan Lane and Laurie Metcalf factor to fill those 1,500 seats every single night.
They are, but it also changes how you have to direct it. We know Joe Mantello is directing. He's a master.
He is. This is his 7th collaboration with Laurie Metcalf, by the way.
Oh, wow. So they have that shorthand.
Yeah.
But when you direct a play in a space that cavernous, you can't just do kitchen sink realism.
No.
If you play it small, the people in the back of the mezzanine aren't going to feel a thing. You have to expand the psychological landscape of a play.
Which lines up perfectly with the notes we have on the production concept. Mantello isn't doing the dusty, realistic furniture version.
No, he did this deep archival research into Arthur Miller's early drafts.
And this is fascinating.
It is. For the theater nerds out there, Miller's original title for the play wasn't Death of a Salesman. It was The Inside of His Head.
The inside of his head. I mean, That changes everything about how you visualize this play.
It completely reframes it. It suggests the play isn't happening in a real house.
Yeah.
It's a memoryscape. It's fluid. Walls should dissolve. Time should jump around.
It's all happening inside Willy's psyche.
Exactly. And if Mantello is leaning into that dream state concept, then suddenly the massive Winter Garden stage makes perfect sense.
Oh.
You can use that huge empty space to represent the vast, terrifying emptiness of Willy Loman's mind.
That's a brilliant connection, and they're billing this as the definitive modern interpretation.
They are.
And again, like with Radcliffe, you have to catch it quickly. Previews start March 6th, opening night is April 9th, and it closes June 14th.
A very short run for such a monumental piece.
Okay, let's shift gears. We talked about the Wizard, we talked about the Titan, now we have to talk about the invasion.
The full-on Hollywood takeover.
Segment 3. And we're breaking this into 2 parts because there's just so much of it. Part 1 is all about grit, crime, and, well, the bear.
It is impossible to ignore the cultural impact of that show. It's everywhere. And Broadway producers certainly haven't ignored it.
No.
We have a mini reunion happening on stage at the August Wilson Theatre.
We do. We have John Bernthal and Eben Moss-Bachrach.
Cousin Richie
And Mikey Persato. They are teaming up for a new play called Dog Day Afternoon.
Yes. Now, film buffs out there will immediately recognize that title.
Oh, absolutely.
It's based on the 1975 Sidney Lumet film that starred Al Pacino and John Cazale.
A masterpiece.
And that movie, of course, was based on a true story about a bank robbery in Brooklyn in the summer of 1972 that went completely horribly sideways.
It's a classic New York story. And John Bernthal is playing Sonny, that's the Al Pacino role.
Okay.
And Eben Moss-Bachrach is playing Sal, the John Cazale role.
That is just perfect casting. It's inspired.
Yeah.
You need actors who can bring that raw, volatile, sweaty, desperate energy.
And both of these guys won Emmys for The Bear for doing exactly that kind of high-intensity work.
But adapting a movie like Dog Day Afternoon for the stage is tricky. It's really hard. The movie is famous for its exterior shots, the huge crowds on the street, the police standoffs.
Yeah.
How do you put all that in a box?
Well, the key is the playwright. It's written by Stephen Adly Gurgis.
Okay. That's the key to the whole thing.
Right. Gurgis is a Pulitzer Prize winner for Between Riverside and Crazy. He is a native New Yorker. He has this incredible, almost supernatural ear for street dialogue.
The way New Yorkers actually speak and argue.
Yes. It's overlapping, it's messy, it's profane, it's hilarious and tragic all at once.
The sources describe the vibe they're going for as raw, gritty, and sweaty. And putting that in the August Wilson Theatre, that's a space that can really handle that kind of explosive energy.
It is. And think about the stamina required. In the movie, you can cut, you can do another take, you can rest. On stage, John Bernthal has to maintain that high-wire manic energy of a bank robber, realizing he's trapped for 2 hours straight, 8 times a week.
It's a physical feat as much as it is an acting one.
It really is. And a fun fact, Eben Moss-Bachrach is playing the role originally made famous by John Cazale, who was a legend of the New York theater scene before he was ever in films. So there's a nice lineage there.
I love that.
Previews for this one begin March 10th. Opening night is March 30th, and it runs through July 12th. So it really feels like a summer blockbuster on stage.
It does. But that is not the only gritty true crime drama bringing big Hollywood stars to the stage this spring.
No, it's not.
We have another huge announcement, this one for the James Earl Jones Theatre.
This one actually caught me by surprise when it was announced. We have Adrien Brody, the Oscar winner for The Pianist,
right?
And Tessa Thompson, who you know from Creed and the Marvel movies. Both of them are making their Broadway debuts.
Both making their debuts. That's a big deal. It's always a bit of a gamble when major screen actors step onto the stage for the very first time.
Sure.
Can they project?
Yeah.
Can they hold a live audience for 2 hours without a cut? But Brody, I think, has always had a very theatrical quality to his acting.
I agree. And the show is called The Fear of 13.
The Fear of 13. That sounds ominous.
It is. It's a very heavy, gripping story. It's based on a documentary of the same name, which tells the true story of a man named Nick Yaris.
And Adrien Brody is playing Yaris.
He is. And Yaris was a man who spent 22 years on death row in Pennsylvania.
Wow.
For a murder and rape he did not commit.
Oh, my gosh.
He was eventually exonerated by DNA evidence, but the play focuses on his time inside, and specifically his relationship with a prison volunteer.
Who is played by Tessa Thompson.
Exactly. She plays Jackie Sheffer, a volunteer who befriends him.
The reviews from London, because this is a transfer for the Donmar Warehouse in the West End, were just glowing. They called it visceral and harrowing.
And visually, from what I've read, it sounds both stunning and terrifying. The sources mention the staging uses glass walls, white tiles, and real working CCTV cameras.
Oh, wow. So it's like watching an animal in a zoo, like a goldfish bowl.
Exactly. It creates this feeling of constant surveillance. You, the audience, are watching this man in a cage. It really emphasizes the claustrophobia and the horror of death row.
It creates a literal barrier between the actor and the audience, which probably forces you to lean in to become a voyeur in his story.
It sounds like an absolute acting tour de force for Brody.
Yeah.
To hold the stage with that kind of intensity for 2 hours is incredible.
Absolutely. And for Tessa Thompson, too. It's basically a two-hander, from what I understand, so it relies entirely on their chemistry and the tension between them.
Previews for The Fear of 13 start March 19th, opening is April 15th, and it closes July 12th.
So you have Dog Day Afternoon and The Fear of 13 running at the same time. If you like intense acting-driven drama, you are absolutely spoiled for choice this spring.
It really is an embarrassment of riches, but maybe you want something a little less prison-y.
A little less harrowing, perhaps.
Perhaps you want something about genius. Or controversy.
That brings us to part 2 of our Hollywood Takeover segment.
Right. Segment 4. And we have to start with another, the Bear alum.
They are everywhere. It's the Bear takeover of Broadway.
It really is. This time, it's Ayo Edebiri, the Emmy winner. She is making her Broadway debut alongside the legendary Don Cheadle,
who is also making his Broadway debut, which is actually surprising to me given his career, but he's finally here.
He is, and they are starring in a revival of the play Proof.
Ah, Proof. This is a play that a lot of people will probably remember. It won the Pulitzer Prize and the Tony for Best Play back in 2001. It was a massive hit.
A modern classic, for sure. It's by David Auburn, and it's set in Chicago, on the back porch of a house. Ayo Edebiri plays Catherine, a young woman who has spent years caring for her brilliant but mentally ill father, a famous mathematician named Robert.
Who is played by Don Cheadle.
Played by Don Cheadle. And the central conflict of the play kicks off after he dies, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cheadle's character appears in flashbacks and sort of visions. But after his death, a revolutionary, groundbreaking mathematical proof is found locked in his desk.
And the big question becomes, who wrote it?
Exactly. Did he write it during a final fleeting moment of lucidity?
Wow.
Or did Catherine, who has inherited both his mathematical talent and perhaps his mental instability, write it herself?
So it's a mystery, but it's also a really potent family drama about legacy and grief. And I think Ayo Edebiri is such an interesting choice for this role.
I do too.
We know her for her comedy, her incredible timing, her very specific anxiety-riddled energy in The Bear.
Right.
Catherine is a character who is defined by anxiety, by grief, by this deep-seated fear that she is losing her mind just like her father did.
It's a perfect pivot for her.
Yeah.
Great comedic actors often make the best dramatic actors because they understand rhythm so well.
Yeah.
And the dialogue in Proof is incredibly sharp. It's like intellectual sparring.
And just seeing Don Cheadle on stage, I mean, come on, that alone is worth the ticket price. He has that gravitas, that ability to be both charming and terrifying at the same time.
Which is exactly what the role of the father needs.
And the director is Thomas Kail,
the director of Hamilton.
So you know the pacing and the staging are going to be razor sharp. It's playing at the Booth Theatre. Previews start March 31st.
Another one for the list. But if we're talking about heavy roles and big stars, we absolutely have to talk about Giant.
Oh, yes. Giant, starring John Lithgow.
A living legend.
John Lithgow is, quite frankly, one of the best actors we have. And he's reprising a role he played in London, I believe at the Royal Court, which won him just universal rave reviews.
And who is he playing?
He is playing Roald Dahl.
Roald Dahl, the man who wrote Matilda, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the BFG, the beloved children's author.
The very same. But this is not a children's play, is it?
No, definitely not. This is a play about the man behind the books, and he was a famously complicated, difficult figure.
The play is set in 1983, and it focuses on a very specific real-life controversy.
Yeah.
Dahl wrote a book review that contained remarks about Israel and Lebanon that were widely condemned at the time as anti-Semitic. The play takes place during a single lunch at his home, where his American publisher is trying to get him to apologize.
And he refuses.
He is famously obstinate, egotistical, and complex. Lithgow plays him as this brilliant, larger-than-life, difficult genius who absolutely refuses to back down.
The sources we looked at describe it as a career-best performance for Lithgow. It explores that thorny question of separating the art from the artist.
Exactly. Can you still love the books if you know the man who wrote them was deeply flawed?
That feels incredibly relevant right now.
Yeah.
We're constantly having these difficult cultural conversations about how to handle the legacies of artists who did or said terrible things.
It's uncomfortable and it's timely. It's playing at the Music Box Theatre. Previews begin March 11th. It's a transfer from London, so it's a very polished production, and it is going to spark a lot of dinner conversations, I think.
It creates such a fascinating contrast in this season. You have Every Brilliant Thing, which is about finding joy in the world, and then you have Giant, which is about grappling with its ugliness.
So let's recap the dramas. We have Every Brilliant Thing, Salesman, Dog Day Afternoon, The Fear of 13, Proof, and Giant. That is a lot of heavy drama.
So much. A lot of tears, a lot of shouting, a lot of crime. It's a very dramatic spring.
So for our fifth and final segment, let's lighten the mood a little bit. We're calling this the lightning round, the fun and musical mentions.
Thank goodness.
Because Broadway isn't just about crying in the dark. It's also about glitter and dancing cats.
And we have to start with the cats.
Yeah.
Because the cats are back, but they look very different this time.
They do. We're talking about Cats, the Jellicle Ball.
Yes. This is at the Broadhurst Theatre. Previews start March 18th. Now, if you are picturing the 1980s spandex and the big poofy yak hair wigs,
Erase that from your mind.
completely erase it. This is a total reimagining. It's Andrew Lloyd Webber's Cats. The music is the same, but it is set in the world of modern ballroom culture.
Voguing, runway walking, death drops. It's inspired by the underground ballroom scene. If you've seen the documentary Paris is Burning or the TV show Pose, you know what we're talking about.
This started off Broadway at the brand new Perelman Performing Arts Center, and it was a massive, sold-out, impossible-to-get-a-ticket hit. People went absolutely crazy for it.
The sources say electrifying ballroom choreography and glittering spectacle.
And if you think about it, the concept makes perfect sense. The plot of Cats, such as it is about a competition. The Jellicle Ball is a contest to see which cat gets to be reborn.
And in the ballroom scene, you have houses competing against each other, walking in different categories, getting scored by judges.
Tens across the board.
Exactly. It recontextualizes the inherent silliness of the plot into something that is culturally specific, competitive, and just plain cool.
And the cast includes the legendary Andre de Shields.
Yes. And Ducky Fumzile Sojala. It's taking this musical that everyone, loves to make fun of and turning it into something genuinely hip and exciting. I cannot wait to see this on a big Broadway stage.
Me neither. Next up on the fun list, Titanic.
The little show that could.
It's finally moving to a big Broadway house, the St. James Theatre. Previews start March 26th. If you don't know Titanic, it is a musical spoof of the movie Titanic.
Okay.
But it's all set to the music of Celine Dion.
And Celine Dion is a character in the show. She sort of narrates the whole thing. Marla Mandel, who co-wrote it and starred in it off-Broadway, is back as Celine. But the casting news for the Broadway transfer is just wild.
Who do we have?
We have Jim Parsons from The Big Bang Theory.
No way, in Titanic.
Yes way. He is playing Ruth, Rose's mother.
He's playing Ruth.
The mother. And we have R&B legend Deborah Cox playing the unsinkable Molly Brown.
That is the most beautifully chaotic casting I have ever heard of, and I'm 100% here for it. It sounds like a total party.
It's pure camp. It's hilarious. It's fun. It is exactly what you need after seeing Death of a Salesman.
Absolutely. And speaking of TV to stage adaptations, we also have Schmigadoon.
Yes, based on the Apple TV Plus series, it's coming to the Nederlander Theater in April. Alex Brightman and Sarah Chase from the original cast are starring.
It's a parody of Golden Age musicals, so it's very meta to have it actually on a Broadway stage.
Very meta. And finally, for the vampire lovers out there, we have The Lost Boys.
Based on the classic 80s movie.
It's a brand new musical. Previews start in March. It's starring Shoshana Bean. It's got that 80s rock and roll vampire vibe.
Okay, I am breathless. That's a lot of shows.
It is an incredibly dense season.
So let's wrap this up with a little outro and some practical advice for you, the listener. We have covered Daniel Radcliffe in a solo show,
Nathan Lane and Laurie Metcalf in Salesman,
the Bear Guys in a bank heist,
Adrien Brody and Tessa Thompson in a prison drama,
Io Itabiri and Don Cheadle doing math,
John Lithgow as a problematic Roald Dahl, and Ballroom Cats.
What a list.
It is an incredible list, but here is the practical reality for you, our listener. You need to plan. You need to plan now.
Yes. As we mentioned at the top, almost all of these are strictly limited runs. They're closing in May, June, or July. They're built around the stars' very busy schedules. If you wait until the summer, you will miss them.
Also, you have to keep in mind the Tony surge. All of these shows are opening in March and April for a very specific reason.
Right. The eligibility cutoff for the 2026 Tony Awards is April 26th. Producers are cramming these shows in so they can qualify for this year's awards ceremony, which is on June 7th.
So that means the energy in the theater district in March and April is going to be absolute fever pitch. Everyone is fighting for attention, for press, and for Tony voters.
If you're in New York this spring, the vibe is going to be electric.
But this brings us to a final and maybe a provocative thought to leave you with.
Let's hear it.
We look at this list, and it is dazzling. It's exciting. But it does raise a question about the identity of Broadway in 2026. When you have this many massive movie and TV stars on stage at the same time, Radcliffe, Cheadle, Thompson, Brody, Bernthal, Adrien, are we seeing a new golden age of theater? Or is Broadway just becoming a luxury extension of Hollywood?
That is a fair and complicated question.
And with the ticket prices that these stars command, because let's be honest, these tickets will not be cheap.
No, they will not.
We have to ask, who is this theater really for? Is it still accessible to the average theater lover? Or is it becoming an exclusive club for those who can afford to see a movie star in the flesh?
That is definitely something to mull over as you're sitting in that virtual queue, refreshing the ticketing website, trying to snag a seat.
It's a complicated ecosystem for sure.
Yeah.
But man, the art coming out of it this spring looks absolutely incredible.
It certainly does. Whether you're there for the celebrities or for the storytelling, it is going to be a spring to remember on Broadway.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for taking this deep dive with us. Good luck getting tickets and enjoy the show.
Enjoy the show.